Good afternoon, everyone. It's Anifa Menon from hearthealthbrainhealth.com, encouraging healthy grieving and mindful actions. So, today I want to talk about number 2 in our list of 20 values from the Bhagavad Gita. And you'll notice that these values are actually very similar in many spiritual traditions or religious traditions, or even in just a good way to live in life in general. So, today, I want to talk about number 2, which is about modesty and quiet performance. Modesty and quiet performance. And I think, again, a lot of us value this. And I came across this quotation by Diogenes, which I really liked, which says, "Modesty is the color of virtue." Modesty is the color of virtue. And I thought, what a beautiful way to think of this beautiful value. If I had a color for modesty, I definitely would say it's the color of virtue, because we can't really identify what virtue would be colored as, would we? We'd be able to say that we recognize it as very good. It's a lovely awareness to have of someone is modest in good actions. Now remember, modesty can come through a few different forms. It can come through the way a person dresses, the way a person speaks, or the way a person conducts themselves. And so any of these areas can be a place for modesty. Then the other part of this second value in the Bhagavad Gita is quiet performance. And I found a couple of things that might help you remember this. Lao Tzu actually had written this from Taoist or Buddhist tradition. It says, "Let your workings remain a mystery, just show people your results." Let your workings remain a mystery, just show people your results. Which I thought was really quite beautiful. And you would think, well, why would you need to work mysteriously? And it's quiet performance, right? It's a matter of do the work that you know that you are suited for or love or do best in, and let your work show what you are doing or who you are. I think this is beautiful. Now, if you own a business, you might need to publicize the work that you do. And I'm all for that. I think it's really nice to be able to share with people, especially when it's coming from a place of helping other people. And perhaps you just do really great things. Maybe you bake great cakes and you want to be able to show that this is the type of cake I can make, or these are the types of cakes that I could make, or this is how I cook, or whichever way. If it's something that could help another person or something to enjoy with others, that's beautiful. The change is when it's no longer modest. So the modest way of quiet performance is just doing it and saying, yeah, I'm doing this. I like it. I really enjoy this. This feels really good for me. That's modest. If it's like, yeah, and I know, I mean, other people can't do this, and people would like to be able to do this, but I know I'm pretty good at it. And you might be, but it's a mannerism, right? So in how you're conducting yourself is going to make a big difference. And when I was going through some contemplation about all of this, about just these two areas, I came across this psychology fact, which said you are more likely to achieve your goals if you keep them to yourself. You are more likely to achieve your goals if you keep them to yourself. Now, this can have pros and cons, right? Because oftentimes we will do better with working with others. So, to share your goals can be very, very useful. But oftentimes, if you are working towards a goal and you tell lots of people, or even a few people, it only takes one person to plant a seed of doubt in your head. So, only one person could say, I don't think that's ever worked, or boy, well, good luck with that. And it could be the mannerism with which they say it, or the true belief that they have that you might not succeed. And you might probably already have a little bit of that concern in your own mind. So if someone else says that to you, it might either stop you from completing what you had set out to do, or it might shake you up enough that you won't have the same confidence you would have had if you were doing it without other input. So I thought those were really, really useful details. And then, of course, I love to think. So I thought a little bit more and I thought, okay, we think about someone who is modest and is doing quiet performance. And what are the times that there's good and there's not so good in that? Because what we see is just a reflection of what we see. So let's say someone is quietly doing their quiet performance modestly. What goes on in a person's mind is totally in their awareness. It's not necessarily in our awareness. And that's an important thing to recognize too, because certainly when I work with clients going through relationship unease, especially, a lot of times there has been quiet performance and modesty. And yet, there have been lies that have surfaced or untruths, let's say. So I came across this other quote, which says, lying is done with words and also with silence. Lying is done with words and also with silence. So remember, when we're thinking about Bhagavad Gita and values, we want to remember that intention of an individual is what matters, and only an individual knows their own intention. So I leave you with that today, and I would love for you to sit for 5 minutes and think about, what do you do with modesty and quiet performance? What is it that you know about yourself that you're just sticking to and you're doing because you just feel drawn to doing it? And I hope that you sit down and remember those things because it's part of who you are and they're wonderful values to have. And when the time is right, you will share this with the world. So I leave you with that. I hope you have a fantastic day. And remember, transform your mind and transform your life, everyone.